starting now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we are recording this, and I'll send you a link to the recording when we're done. So here's what I'll do. I'll walk you through the main components of the software. I wouldn't say they're features or modules. They're just basically the main functions that help you do your job. I'll talk to you a little bit about it, but what I'd like to do is after I get through just 2 slides of high-level features or benefits, I'll just show you the software. We'll walk through it, and you can ask me questions as we get along. Excuse me. Now, I can make these slides available to you. That's why I show you. There's a grayed out portion in here. We have all kinds of slides in here with our pricing and our screenshots and things like that. So I can make this available to you as well after the demo. Okay, so what I'll do real quickly is I'll talk to you about, of course, the main component, which is the CRM module. Now, we fall into the CRM category, of course, and of course we have the CRM component, but we're more than just CRM. We do bid tracking, and that's not normal for a generalized CRM system like a Salesforce or Zoho or something, because we focus on commercial builders like yourself. And our focus is even more specialized, I would say, to the specialty contractors like electrical contractors. We do have general contractors that use our software, but usually those general contractors have divisions that do electrical or HVAC, and so we're really targeted towards the subs like yourself. We allow you to manage your opportunities, of course, and follow up is the key component to the CRM lead management. So the way we look at this, Harris, is we like to look at things in 3 phases for you. So you have your lead and your opportunity phase. When somebody has come to you and said, I want you to bid on a job, or you know that some job is coming up and they haven't actually submitted an RFQ yet, but it's there. And so you capture it in the system, and then you could start following up on that with a follow-up plan. And then as you move them through the different stages of an opportunity, that plan can change. So if it's a potential opportunity, then you may say, well, I'm going to send them an email once a month. Hopefully we'll get an invitation to bid. But then when it becomes a more qualified bid and you move it into an active opportunity, well, you may want to make a phone call once a week just to make sure you don't miss out on that RFQ or that invitation to bid. And then hopefully you go into the bidding and proposal phase. You'll have a status where you're preparing the bids and you have some follow-up on that. Then you have, bids submitted. And of course you want to be following up on that bid that was submitted. And then hopefully you win the job and you go into the construction phase and you have follow-up there as well. But if you lose the job, yeah, we want to circle back on that and create a follow-up to say, maybe you want to call the guy and say, why did we lose the job? Was it that we, sorry, my sales guy just jumped in and then he jumped back out. Was our pricing, too high, or is there some reason why we missed the job? So you can follow back on that. Or if you win the job, maybe you want, and then you go through the construction process after the job is complete. You'll also want to follow up to get the next phase of work, or maybe there's a warranty contract or service contract on the end of it. I don't know. But we try to keep the follow-up in place by adding the follow-up plan, tracking the next steps. But then you can also automate part of that by sending out automatic emails, on a regular basis to say, thank you for the opportunity to bid on this job. We're working on it, just to make sure they know you got it and that you're you're working on that.
Yeah.
Now, when I do these webinars, and we average about 7 demos a week. Um, and you told me right away, you said we don't have a good process to follow up on things, and we need to track the status of things. We need to follow up. Most of the time we hear that. Okay. They're either following up, but they don't really have a process or a system in place to help them do the follow up. We hear that every day. And just by having something in place, even if everybody was doing it, it's a good thing to do, obviously, but by knowing that other people are not doing a good job of it gives you an advantage if you get something in place like this, because you're not only are you following up on a timely basis, but you're doing it in a very professional way, an organized way. One of the things we also hear is, they don't know when things are due, and sometimes they miss a deadline, or they don't, they're scrambling, and they don't, and they start to get sloppy, and then they're rushing to get the bid out, so we try to help with all that and keep everything nice and tidy, and remind you, say, hey, if you have a bid that's due, you're going to get a reminder that it's due, and not only it's due that day, but we'll actually tell you, because some people, the bid's due at noon on Friday, not 5 o'clock on Friday, but it's due on noon. If you don't get it in, well, you don't get the job. So we hear that from our customers a lot, and we try to take care of that for you. Now, the bid tracking module, I mean, that's really what we talked about, where you're managing multiple bids for the same job. I mean, it's really best if I show that to you. But, part of that is making sure you not only do you track it, but again, when you close out a job, like one of them's awarded, the other jobs get closed out, and it's not necessarily a lost sale. It's just that it was awarded to you from another general contractor, and I'll show that to you. And oh yeah, I forgot to tell you the story about Bid Tracer. So one of my largest companies came to me and says, we're not able to track multiple bids for the same job. And I told them, I said, I find that very hard to believe. How can it be that in this industry there's no system in place to do that? And they said, well, there is. They said there's a company called Bid Tracer out there, and we did all the research and we looked it up, and we found that Bid Tracer allows you to manage multiple bids for the same job. But they said it doesn't have all the other components that Spectrum CRM has. It's not CRM. It doesn't have email marketing. It doesn't have, I don't think they mentioned Proposal Builder, but they wanted all these other things. They wanted the follow-up system. They wanted the email marketing. And they said it just didn't make sense to get a bid tracking system in place without all the other stuff. And they had built one in Microsoft Access database, but they're so big that, and there are multiple locations that it just didn't work for them. So anyways, that's what led us to build our bid tracking module. Was one of our really big customers came to us and said, it doesn't exist, we need it, and we went and built it.
Yep.
So interesting story, but it's...
I've seen it's very few offer, like you're saying, the multiple bids for GCs. I think you're my 5th or 6th demo by now.
Okay.
Over the course of like 7 months.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. I'm often very surprised, when I learn about these things. But we'll show it to you, and hopefully you'll like it. And then of course we have the Proposal Builder or Quote Builder, and I'll show this to you as well, and it demos really well. But what this does is it allows you to it's not estimating software, but once you have an estimate ready to go, you can build a proposal with multiple documents, such as a cover letter or the actual proposal, and maybe you put in, references, security requirements. If you're a union, union
Yeah.
company. There may be some documentation that you need to submit for that job, and you can build out a proposal and combine all the documents together into one proposal, or you can add some of those documents as addendums. Either way, and it works really well. And
Yeah, no, definitely looking. We currently do it in Microsoft Word, so it's not required for the software, but it's something. It's a plus 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 feature that I would
okay.
love to integrate.
Uh, well, then you're going to like this. So I will show this to you, and I'll stop talking about it because the demo kind of speaks for itself. Okay, and so so we definitely have the branded email marketing, and traditionally email marketing isn't part of a CRM system.
Yeah,
But
we wouldn't use it, so you don't even have to speak about it.
okay, great.
Yeah.
I'll skip it, and then we'll go down to the dashboards and reports, which really just we'll do in the demo. And then we have the very important Spectrum interface, which is what you're going to want to see. So the Spectrum interface, which will turn on when you go live hopefully in March, like you said, is a two-way interface. And are you going to be using the Dexter Cheney hosting services, or are you going to bring it on site? Do you know?
We're hosting on site.
Okay, so we work with on-site Spectrum systems, and we work with in the cloud Spectrum systems, and we've actually done one where it was on-site at first, and then we moved it to the cloud. So we were able to adapt to that very easily. Yeah, this was a very large company, and their network got hacked, and they got paranoid, and so they put it in the Dexter Cheney cloud, and so we just switched them. But the interface is two ways, and essentially what it does is it keeps your jobs, your customers, and your contacts in sync between Spectrum and Spectrum CRM. And so when we turn it on, and you can decide which features you want or which ones you don't, but it basically will populate your CRM system with all the customers, all the contacts, and all the jobs that you've ever done for those customers, which is super cool because now you have a CRM system that has all your customers and your contacts. And then if you get a new opportunity, you don't have to rekey the data in. It's all there. And then when jobs are awarded in Spectrum, in Spectrum CRM, we'll send it over to Spectrum, and we'll create the job in Spectrum, and then add the proper follow-up plan. Now, if the customer exists in Spectrum, we add the job to the customer. If the customer does not exist in Spectrum, we'll create the customer in Spectrum, and everything works.
Can I just stop you for a question?
Yeah.
That kind of side thing. So I know you guys are Spectrum CRM. That's just a rebranding of your software to integrate. I take it you have like a partnership agreement with them?
We do, yes.
Okay, so it's same software whether I go through Spectrum or if I called you up and I said I'm not using Spectrum.
That's
It
correct.
just does more. Got it. Okay,
That's
go
correct.
ahead.
So things could change in the future, but right now that's exactly the way it is. I mean, it's the same software but rebranded for Spectrum CRM. But that interface that we have is very, very tight and very robust, so that you're getting not only job information and customer information and contact information, but it brings in the financial information for your jobs if you want to do reporting on profitability or revenue by customer, and we even bring in like their credit information. So, whether that's useful for you or not, I don't know, but it just tells a good story that we're very tightly integrated with the Spectrum software, and our builders love that. So that's the interface, and we set that up for you. You don't have to worry about it. We have a little form that you fill out that says, okay, here's our login and here's our information. We connect the interface and you're off and running. So it's pretty neat. All right.
But does the interface count as a concurrent user logged in?
No.
Or no? Okay.
Well, we don't have concurrent licenses anyways,
Okay.
but it's not counted as a separate user.
Got it.
It just runs in the background.
Background. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let me go ahead and dive into the demo. You're going to Dexter Cheney folks are actually calling me right now. I'm gonna have to call them back. So I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna go into the Spectrum CRM login. And for some reason, Google reset all my auto-populate password thing. I don't know why it did that, but anyways, it did it for all my banks, my logins to my bank account, and I have to go back and remember all that stuff.
The next month is going to be a pain for you.
What's that?
The next month is going to be a pain for you as you discover websites you're like,
well, I've been through it already. I don't know why it did that, but it did. I can't remember all my passwords. Okay, so if I log in to Spectrum CRM, I will see a dashboard, and my dashboard is configurable, but will also show me all the jobs that I have or opportunities that I have. I can see the history. I can see the next steps. I can see my tasks that are due. I can see, where things are in the pipeline, some warnings, some statistics, and some reminders. Okay. Now, I can also go in and just under CRM manage my leads, manage my customers or my accounts, and then also my contacts. Now, what I like to do in this demo is kind of walk you through the menu options at a high level, so you can see, how easy it is to use the software. And then what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll drill down mainly in the bid tracking, because bid tracking shows you the information we capture for the leads and the opportunities and also the customers. So we have the CRM. Obviously, you can go in and manage your leads, manage your accounts, or manage your customers.
Yep.
You can filter and sort. I've got my contacts and my tasks. I have my bid and proposals. And this is where I see multiple bids for the same job. So I can kind of expand that to see that I have 4 bids for this job. I can see my my proposals, and I can also see like a bid calendar. And my bid calendar will allow me to see all the bids that I've got outstanding, what I'm working on, who's working on them, when they're due, how big the job is, and what's the status. And I can leave that open kind of on a dashboard and just toggle back and forth between that and the software. Okay. But I also can go into email marketing, and I know you're not interested in that, but that's there. And then you also have.
Sorry, just hold on a second. Sorry.
Sure.
What did you get? Yeah, that's what's on it. So you're good? Oh, wait, no, this could be while on. Ask whichever you want. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's okay. That's all right. Sorry, where I was showing you the email marketing. I know you're not particularly interested in it, but it's there. And if you want to use it, I mean, it's included. We're kind of like an all-inclusive package. So you can try it out, and if you don't like it, that's fine. But it'll be there. Now, tons of reports. We love reports, and you'll have the ability to access our canned reports. All our reports are exportable to Excel or PDF or Word or whatever. You can build your own reports, and then we can create custom reports. And then we also have, Excel exports where you can build your own reports in Excel if you want as well. So I can talk about reports probably all day long, but we have a lot of reports, but we're always adding reports. So actually, we're about to add one this weekend, a new forecast report. All right, so now one of the really neat things that we do have is something called a content center. And this is where you can take your proposal documents that you have in Word, okay? And you can store them in here, and you can edit them in here, or you can update them in here. But this is where you could say, well, look, I have a standard proposal template or a standard cover letter. And then if you edit it, you can, on your hard drive, you can upload a new version of it. But this allows you to add these proposals, add these documents to a proposal, sort of just by dragging and dropping, or just adding them to proposal and building out a proposal template. So I can go in and I can edit these documents, and it's a Microsoft Word like editor, where I can go in and, just type stuff in. And then you can add what we call merge fields or database fields to these documents. And that's kind of like a fill in the blank thing, where when you generate a proposal, it'll add the customer name right to the document automatically. And where that is cool is, of course it saves you time, but also, minimizes mistakes, and everything, and it also makes your proposals look professional. So I can store any type of document in here. I can store a PDF, a Word document. I can add a PDF as an addendum to my proposal, plain text, images. And then you can also add them to the follow-up tasks. I mean, you mentioned you don't do a real good job of following up, or you're not doing a lot of follow-up today. If you have a follow-up task, you can have a document attached to that, and it could be like a checklist. Or even it could even be an email, like a canned email that you want to send out, when you're following up on a bid, so you don't have to type it all over again or reinvent the wheel every time you want to follow up on an RFQ. You've got a standard set of documents or standard set of emails available, in your content center. Now, part of the follow-up plans, Harris, allows you to automate some of the emails, and I mentioned this earlier. So let's say you have a bid and you just submitted the bid. You can move them to bid submitted status, and then you'll have a bunch of emails that goes out and says, thank you for the opportunity. Your proposal is on its way. And then maybe 5 days from then, you'll submit another email to say, hey, if you have any questions, let us know. And we'll be happy to answer your questions. Mm-hmm. So we use it ourselves, obviously, and we just did a convention last week, and we added our own follow-up plan to that convention, and we're getting reminders and alerts when to follow up on them, and emails went out that said, hey, thank you for visiting our booth at the Builder Show. And it looks good, and it makes sure that and we have, we get about 125 leads at the show, and we want to follow up with them right away, and it's really hard to send out 125 emails. All right, so we have the Help Center, and the Help Center is really good because you have how-to guides and videos in here, but also you can get regular training, which we have every single day of the week. It's live training, and it's free. So it's part of your subscription. You can email us, or you can call us as well. We have our training and our support is unlimited as long as you're a subscriber, which is very helpful, obviously.
Yep.
All right, so we have all that fun stuff. Now, the search bar is really neat, too. So after we're integrated with Spectrum, you'll be able to search on your customers and your jobs by what is called a Spectrum customer code. So my favorite Spectrum customer is Albert Bell Construction, their Spectrum customer code is BELALB. And if I type that in, I'm going to quickly go in and I'm going to find Albert Bell Construction. And there we go, based on their Spectrum customer code. But it can also be a job number. Okay. And then
could it be a job name, or are we limited
yes.
by the job number? Okay.
Oh, no. It searches. Yeah, it could be job name. It could be part of the job description. It could be part of their email address. So if I type in my email address, Dave K at, and that's all I type in, it's going to find me in there. And I actually have myself in there under a few accounts, but there I can find myself just by part of the email address. And you can see that was the Dave K email address right there. And it's very handy. I really find it rare to go, for me personally, because I'm so used to using the software, to go in and manage leads and say, find this. I always go directly to the search bar because it's quick, it's easy. It's the first thing I see when I log in. And so it's extremely useful for me and for our customers. Now, here's the fun part. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to manage bids and opportunities. And I'm going to see that I have, oh goodness, you know what? I'm going to sort this differently. I'm bidding on this particular job. And since we use this for a lot of demos, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoopsie, I clicked on that by accident. Sorry. I have 6 bids against this one job. Typically, I wouldn't think you would do that many, but let's just say I have 6 bids. I know when the bids are due. I know who's working on them and how much the bid amount is. If I drill down into one of those bids, hold on, let me go back real quick. So for those jobs, I can say I have, a descriptive information about that job, but also you could submit specifications for that job or an RFQ, and that way anybody at your company that goes in and prepares a quote against that job has access to those documents. So here's the specs, for that job, and then everybody has them for the job, and you don't have to add them to every single lead or every single quote. Now, each general contractor may come in and they may have their own official RFQ that was submitted, and you can attach that in here as well so that they have the RFQ available. That's a very specific RFQ. Okay, so I have all the contacts that you're working with on that job. You have some details like the job number, the job location, some Spectrum interface information for creating the job. Okay, so you may want to override the cost center, the division, the job number and things like that. You have user-defined fields. You have estimated start date, estimated end date, and we send all that to Spectrum. Now, when Spectrum sends it back, we update the status from Spectrum every night. You'll get an updated start date from Spectrum. So when the job actually starts, you'll get an update in CRM, and you'll be able to see it. When it's completed in Spectrum, you'll get that from Spectrum as well. And one of the neat things about this is we have a forecast report. It's kind of like a cash flow report, I would say, where you're projecting your cash flow. But the cash flow is based on start and end dates. It's not, when it was awarded, because the job, they may award you the job, but it may not start until March. And then the cash flow forecast will reflect that based on these dates. Now you have your follow-up tasks. You have all the history behind this, notes, documents, and you have job history that comes in from Spectrum. So for this company, Commodore Builders, you can see all the active jobs, all the completed jobs, and all the inactive jobs you have for Commodore builders in one place. You can also see their financials and their bids.
Hold on a second. One sec. Yeah? Okay. Do you need to, could I come down a little bit or? Okay, thanks. Sorry. All right, go ahead.
Okay, no problem. So we also interface with third-party bidding systems where we can pull in their bid history here as well. Okay, but let's say now I'm ready to bid this out. Now you have estimators that work for you, Harris, I assume?
We have a whole estimating team of 5 people, plus every project manager does their own estimates as
Okay.
well.
5 estimators, and how many project managers?
About 10.
10?
Yep.
Okay. So you can assign an estimator to this job, and it could be more than one. So you could have the primary estimator and then maybe, a supporting estimator as well. And then, you know when the bid is due, okay? And you can actually specify the exact time. So it may be due at noon. And then from here, what you can do is.
So could I just stop you right there with a few questions?
Yeah.
So one, I see the bid estimate number. Where does that automatically generated? Where does that number come from?
It can be. So we do it both ways. We do it where you type it in, or we do it where you have a mask, a job estimate ID mask,
Okay.
And so, for instance, a lot of our builders want it to be division, year, and then XXXX, where XXXX is a,
Okay. Got it.
So,
I guess maybe once you're done showing me, if we could run through a new a new opportunity from start to finish.
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. So
and
continue on.
Yeah, and that estimate ID may, and some of our builders, actually most of our builders convert the estimate ID to the job number, and that becomes the job number, and they track the estimate and the job together as one number.
Yeah, I would love to do that. The CEO of the company does not want to do that, though.
We can,
Yeah.
and we do that as part of the setup process, and everybody comes to the table with their own little configuration for estimate IDs, and we write a little program to do that for you.
Cool.
So now let's say, okay, I'm ready to do a proposal, and you add a proposal, you edit existing proposal. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and click on the go-to-me. I thought I clicked on that, but okay. So now I've built out a proposal, and I've done that by adding documents, your Word documents, right from either your hard drive, okay, or I pull them out of the content center. Either way, okay. But let's just say I did that for this particular one, and this is my cover letter that I pulled out of the content center. And then it's got these fill-in-the-blank fields, and the way that works is I can look at sample data. It's just general data that just kind of say, okay, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, you say, okay, cool, I like that. And then I'm going to add the actual proposal, a big, long, maybe legal document. And then I have some reference of the specifications that I've added. And I could add that as a PDF addendum if I want to. Or I have references, I think you probably get the idea, but I'm building my proposal. And then I push the button to view it, and it assembles the documents together into a combined proposal, fills in the blanks, okay? And then it becomes one document combined. And then what I can do is I can say, well, I want to view that as a PDF, okay? And that way I can print it, or I can download it and save it to my hard drive if I want to. See, that's another thing Google did. It blocked it reset my pop-up blocker. Okay, there it goes. Sorry. Okay, so it built the PDF for me. and usually it doesn't take this long, but it built the PDF, and then I can do anything I can do with any PDF. I can print it, I can save it. It added the addendums to the PDF, which is, I know that's not, doesn't make any sense, but uh, that was my addendum. You know, the addendum that came from right here, okay, that one document. And now what I can do is I can email that. And so what it did is it generated a PDF and added it as an attachment, okay, and I can view it if I want to,
Yep.
just for my own sanity to make sure it, you know, it actually.
I do that on every single proposal before I send it.
I bet you do.
I attach it, then I click it open.
Yep, I do the same because it may be, I don't know why. I guess you and me are alike, but that's just the way it is. I want to see it before it goes out. You know, and then you can add more people from your database. You know, this pulls your contacts right out of your database. And then if I want to add more attachments, I can. Now, when I send this, I can get an alert when they opened it, and I can get an alert. I can get a text message when they opened it, and then I'm going to automatically set the status to bid submitted after it goes out. So that's it, man. That's the proposal builder, and it's pretty cool. So
yeah, that looks powerful.
Yeah, and then, you know, I'll be able to track all my proposals in the system to say, you know, I want to see all the ones that were in submitted status. You know, here they are. You know, who are we bidding that out to? When is it due? When was it sent?
Are we able to modify what's displayed here? So for us, it's very important to see the job location because we'll have 6 open bids at the same job.
Yes. So yeah, you're able to do that, and we have the ability to add or select columns from here. And if we want to add the location, which would be essentially, well, not essentially, exactly. I'm sorry. Let me go to that opportunity. I have a long, sorry about that. I have a very long description for this opportunity. We have a very long description because somebody submitted a full job description, a real one that we added to our demo. But you're talking about this location here where the job is?
Yeah, the job street address.
Yeah. So yes, we can have that on there.
Now, are you able? One thing that I'll be honest, I love that Bid Tracer does is it's able to classify, I guess, proposals by building name. So every building has a name, whether it be, I guess, Atlantic Mall. So we could search for all jobs at Atlantic Mall. So in addition to a street address, there's a field for a building name. And are you guys able to do custom fields?
Oh yeah. So yes. So that you would have, this would be the building name. We'd set this up under here.
Okay.
And then yeah, we would be able to track it that way. Now you know what a lot of our customers will do that do your type of work is not only do they track the name of the building, but they want to track the owner of the building and the property management company as well. And that way they can look it up. Now, my guess, and I have control over this, so I'm qualified to guess this, is is that we'll have building owner. Maybe it's just generically owner, but property manager as a standard field within the job, because so many of our specialty contractors like yourself want to keep up with that so that they can follow up with the building owner, you know, to get the next round of work. And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to go in here and say, categorize all your, so let's say, I hope you can see this, but this says building owner. So you can track all your building owners. And so one of our companies that does your line of work, they focus on hospitals. So they'll have all the hospital owners in here, and then they can go back and say, okay, Texas Children's Hospital, we've done all this work for you. Let's what about any follow-up work that you may need?
Yep. So this would display for, let's say, the building owner is Texas Children's Hospital, but would this page display the different GC work we've done, the different direct work we've done?
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, we're probably. I mean, I can predict with almost 100% certainty that right now we're using building owner and property manager as user-defined fields, but so many of our builders are doing that we're probably going to make it a standard field. And then whenever we do that, it gets added to report. So you can go in and say, all the jobs did I do for Texas Children's Hospital, or Gray Star Management Company. That's for residential, but they're the largest property manager for residential out there, and and they want to see all those jobs. So
yep.
That's the fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so how did I do? Did I answer all your questions?
So I have a list of questions, a master one, or a checklist, I guess more so, which I thought was right here, and it's not right here. Sorry, just bear with me for a second.
Sure.
Oh, and it's at home. I took it with me when I flew to review it. So things off top of my head. So if you don't mind me running through real quickly the scenario of a new bid. So let's say Forest City Ratner company I work for calls me and said I need to install 2 new antennas. If we could just walk through a process to see what it looks like.
Sure. So say that to me again. I just didn't catch all of it.
So a new lead, let's say, or a new bid opportunity or lead. I don't know how you define
Okay. Well, let me do that, because what was the name of the customer again?
Forest City. Or you could make up one too. Perfect. Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. You said Park City?
Sure, Park City.
Okay, Parks. And that would be the general contractor, or would that be the building owner?
They do both, but let's just say they're the building owner. We do a lot of work direct, so let's do that.
Directly to the building owner?
Yep, directly to the building owner.
So I'm going to put Park City in here, and because if they already exist, let me start from the beginning. If they already exist, you can just pick them out of the list, okay? Because you've done work for them before. But if they are a new customer, or you don't have them in your database, you can say Park City, and you can categorize them as a building owner, okay? And you have control over this, so you can create a new list if you want to. But
Beautiful.
Building owner is already going to be there, so I'm going to make them a building owner. You can even indicate what industry they're working in if you want to track that. So I'm going to say retail, and sub-industry for retail. That's it. I'm just going to say retail. And then I'm going to say, just for fun, owns multiple buildings. And then I'm going to say the primary person I work with over there is Lester. I'm making this up. Haynes. All right. And you've got all his contact information. Okay. So I got to put a title. Lester is, he's a general employee for them. Okay. So now I've got the building owner in here, and then you want to give me a description of the type of work that they want you to do?
Sure. A new basement heater.
Okay. New basement heater. Okay. And then you might have a description of that, and then you may guess that this is, I don't know, $50,000 job. I don't know. But you can also put tags in there, so you can find out that this guy does a lot of heat. He has a heater that you might want to, if you're doing any, I don't know, you want to go follow up on that for some reason, tag it that way. And then you say, well, okay, he said the bid is due on the 26th. Okay. So I got that. And this is new construction or new heater. or it may be a replacement, but let's just say it's new construction for now. And by the way, you can also have control over um, those categories too. And I'm going to say this is kind of it's a hot lead, and it's an active opportunity because, or qualified opportunity because they actually said, yeah, we're gonna do this. And let's say this is a repeat. It's an and well, what I want to say here is it's an existing customer.
Yeah.
Is my lead source. And why it doesn't say that right now, I'm not sure. Somebody may have renamed it. I'm going to say repeat customer. That's for most of our builders, that would probably be the most common. So I'm going to put that first in the list and say, okay, this is a repeat customer. All right. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add more information. So let's say right now, it's not at the bidding phase. Okay, we're not bidding on this today. But they come along and they say, well, I want an RFQ. And they're the building owner, or I'm sorry, I want to bid, and they're the building owner, so you just start creating a proposal. Okay, which is fine, but maybe it's a bidding opportunity where you're going to be bidding on this to multiple times. What you would do is you would click on this button and it would flip that into a bid opportunity because you're going to be submitting multiple bids. And even if it's just one bid, that's fine. It can stay this way.
Yeah, assuming this is just one bid, let's go for it.
It doesn't really matter. You could keep it this way and you're happy and that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, okay, as a bid opportunity. And now you can go in and under manage my bid opportunities. Did I put a due date? Yes, I did put a due date.
Yep.
Yeah, so GoToMeeting likes to grab the attention of my desktop, so sometimes it's a little slow. Okay, so I'm gonna say, well, where the heck is Park? So I'm gonna type in Park City. There we go. And I've got one bid that I'm working on, but you might want to add multiple. You can add more. But I've got this one bid, and you've gone through the estimating process. And why don't we just say that it is now, and I'm going to set the follow-up plan in place. It is now in the bid preparation stage. So if I had a follow-up plan for that, it would add it here, and then the reminders will go out. Now, what I can do is I can say, well, who's going to be working on this? Okay, let's say Frank is going to be working on this. And so I'm going to assign him as the estimator, and I'm going to send him an email alert to say, dude, you've got a bid that's due, and it's going to add an appointment to his calendar and set a reminder for him.
Okay. So at this point in time, like in the way we do the process, once we sign an estimator to it, or once I guess let's change it to once we do bid prep estimating, let me actually back up more. As soon as we get a bid that we know we're going to be bidding on, it hasn't been assigned to anyone yet, that's when we first assign a bid number to it.
Okay.
So would this be the stage that we would be doing it right now, I guess?
That is correct. And so for the way that would work for the builders that we have that auto-generate their bid numbers, that would have been pre-populated for you already. And so
could I modify that number?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Hey, Eric, do you have a demo? Eric, do you have a demo that you need to start here?
Yeah, I have about 12 people jumping on in a couple of minutes.
Oh, goodness. Oh,
We
God.
could follow up, but we can continue this later on if you need to.
Okay, Eric, can you give me just a minute, and I'm going to wrap it up with Harris here, and then we'll I'll let you have the go-to meeting. One minute.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, Harris. I didn't. I told you we had back-to-back meetings. But
So,
so let's say the estimate ID is ABC123. Yes, you can edit that. And
okay,
now what you can do is you can start building out that proposal the way I showed you before, and then email it and track it. And then once I go back and I look at that opportunity, you'll be able to see the status is under bid submitted. Now, I think you were going to tell me something about this. You generate that estimate number, but then do you pass the ownership over? Is that what you were going to say?
yeah, so eventually the way it works is someone logs in, all the estimates get sent to one person, he puts it in our Excel file, and then when the chief estimator looks through it, he'll assign an estimator at that time.
Okay. But okay, so you can assign an estimator, but still have a project manager or somebody on your sales team assigned
Yep.
to it?
That's what I want to make sure.
Okay, yeah. So you still have somebody assigned to it, but then you have an estimator separately assigned to it. And then you can have a project manager as well.
Okay.
So yeah. And now you're tracking that and you know who the salesperson is, the estimator is, and the project manager, and then your reports will show performance based on estimator, project manager, salesperson, even customer, even division,
Mm-hmm.
which is really handy. So how's that?
That's good. Do you want to just call me directly, and then we could talk about pricing, all that other good stuff?
Yeah, I'll do that. Okay. And
Okay.
I want to make sure, do I have your number? I assume I do.
It's 718
Okay.
361
Okay.
6400.
Thank you. I'll call you right away.
Okay.
Thanks.